Welcome to the course Computer Programming for ER. This is the first lecture, and I am Amin Amiri, an assistant professor of information system at Tilburg University. This lecture includes three videos: Introduction to Computer, Introduction to Development Environments, and Introduction to Basic Commands in Python. After viewing the first video, you can describe the role of RAM, CPU, and hard disk in a computer. You can show running programs in your RAM, and you can also show programs and files stored in the hard disk of your computer. The goal of this course is to make you able to develop programs. You have seen many examples of programs like Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Google Chrome, Firefox, and so on and so forth. A computer program is actually a collection of zeros and ones. It's a collection of machine language instructions where an instruction is a sequence of 64 zeros and ones these days. It used to be 32 bits, 16 bits before that, and 8 bits at the earlier stage of having computers. A computer has one to several CPUs that run these instructions, that run these programs. A CPU can run a 64-bit instruction one at a time, just one of them, not several of them at the same time. Keep that in mind. So these programs are permanently stored on the hard disk of your computer. Hard disks are slow memories, but they can retain stored data even when they are powered up, when the power is off. When you double click on an application or tap it on your smartphone, the program, those zeros and ones, they will be moved to RAM, a random access memory. So RAM contains all computer programs that are being used at the moment. RAM is way faster than hard disk, but it loses data when power is off. So that's why we need RAM. They are faster, but they cannot store data when there is a blackout. So CPU is in charge of running those instructions. So every time it takes one of those instructions and runs it, then it goes to the next instruction. You can find these components on your laptop. For example, under the cooling fan, you can see the CPUs. RAM is usually looks like this. A hard drive looks like this. Many of you may have a solid state drive rather than a hard drive, which is faster. There is a Wi-Fi component here that you get some instructions, some programs from the internet, and also CMOS battery, which helps the BIOS to load instruction related to Microsoft Windows or Mac OS. So to see the running programs in your RAM, in your Windows-based computers, you need to press Ctrl-Alt-Delete on your keyboard and then choose Task Manager. You'll see a window like that. You can see all the programs. Actually, you can see processes of of those programs. A program can have one to many processes. For example, Dropbox has only one process here, but Chrome has several processes. For each tab that I open in Chrome, I have one process here. So Chrome has several processes. You can also see that this process has a unique number and it's running, and it occupies 110 megabytes of your RAM, roughly speaking. You can also see which CPUs is in charge of executing that program. For example, CPU number 1 on my computer is in charge of Outlook, which handles my emails. CPU number 4 is in charge of DWM. So my laptop has 4 CPUs. You can see, you cannot see what CPU 1 and CPU 2 and 3 do at the moment. If you want to know more about RAM, you can watch the video at this address on YouTube. If you want to see what is inside your hard disk, on your Windows, you see two icons, either a My Computer icon or a File Explorer icon. When you click on them, you see a window like this. In your hard, you usually have one to many drives. The first drive is usually called a C drive. You may have some other drives as well, like DE and so forth. Each drive can have 0 to many folders and files. You see that the C drive has many folders here, and each folder can have also 0 to many folders or files. Here, 7-zip folder has one folder called lang and several files. A file has a name and an extension. For example, this file 7zg, the extension for this file is exe or exe. This file's extension is chm. This file's extension is dll. This file's extension is txt. I'm going to explain what those files, but first we need to know that we have two main types of computer programs: software applications and operating systems. You already know many software applications: Microsoft PowerPoint, Google, Zoom, Firefox. They perform tasks for users, for you. Operating systems like Microsoft Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, they support the common tasks that software applications needs. For example, all software applications need to show something on a screen. They need to get inputs from the mouse or from the keyboard. So these common tasks are supported by the operating systems. They also manage hardware. As users, you mostly interact with software applications and through them with the operating system. So we have two types of files: executable files and data files. Executable files include instructions for CPU. You usually see them with extensions such as .exe, .bat, or .dll, and you see icons like this, or they may have customized icons. So they include instructions for the CPU. Data files, they include only data that are used by those executable files. They have extensions such as txt, used for Notepad program, XLS for Microsoft Excel, and Doc for Microsoft Word. These extensions tell the operating system which application can open the data file. XLS and XLSX can be opened only by Microsoft Excel, not by Microsoft Word or Notepad. Extensions are usually hidden. If you do not see them, use Google to find how to show them on Google on your Windows. So those executable files, as I mentioned, can be used by either operating system or in software applications. So operating system files, those executable files, can be found at C Windows usually most of the time. So this C Windows, it includes all the operating system executable files, operating system programs. But most of the software applications, they are stored in program files or program files x86. These programs include only 64-bit instructions, but the x86 folder includes programs that have 32-bit instructions. You choose these paths when you install a program. So most of the time, if you go for the default path, they will be stored in either of these two folders. Data files, I don't know where they are. You yourself as users know where you place them. But the thing is that when you click on a data file, like assume we have a students.xls, a list of your names and email addresses and so on and so forth. When I click on that file, Windows finds the executable file in charge of XLS extension. In my computer, that's excel.exe, which is stored in this path. Then it passes the address of student Excel students.xls to this file, and from that point this program is in charge of handling my commands. Note that these paths can be different on your computer. So this was the end of introduction to computer components. In the next video I will introduce two development environments for creating programs.